Welcome to the Mindcraft podcast. My name is Dr. Kimberly Quinn, and I am here with the lovely, the amazing Dr. Marlena Uhrik, author of The Magic of Making a Difference. Welcome, Marlena.
Thank you, Kimberly. It's so great to be here. I'm just really honored to be one of your guests.
Well, I'm just as honored to be the host because I will tell our listeners that Marlena, because they've met several of our mastermind friends. I met Marlena, I believe, out in Sacramento for a mastermind conference, and we just clicked, sort of immediately.
Yeah.
And she's just got it all going on. And what I would like is to, Marlena, let you take it away here, because Marlena is a motivational speaker and an award-winning author of The Magic of Making a Difference, and she is going to wow us with telling her story of the story. So why don't you get us started?
All right. I love it. Thank you again. So, the magic of making a difference actually is a true story, and it's it was a story that I've told over the years because it has it was based on like an aha moment that occurred in my life that changed my life forever. And as a result, changed other people's lives too. So I really felt compelled to write the story, put it in book form, even though I've told it for the last 20, 30 years. So let's step back in time for a minute. The story takes place when my daughter was 8 years old. And we were really went through a lot of changes as a family. You see, I had married my high school sweetheart, and we were married for 10 years, had a couple kids, and then all of a sudden I was divorced and raising two small kids. And it was something that I never had on my radar screen, and I never thought it was going to happen to me, that I would get divorced. But I found myself as a struggling single parent. So it was one day during the month of December that my daughter came to me early in the morning while I was in the kitchen making breakfast. And she was so excited. She said, Mom, guess what? She said, our school's having a canned food drive, and the class that brings in the most canned goods is going to have a pizza party. So, Mom, what can I bring? What can I bring? And I looked at her and I was like, all my thoughts were, I, I'm just barely making it myself. I'm struggling to get food on our table. And I felt like I didn't have enough food, even barely, for us. So when she asked that question again, Mom, what can I bring? I was like, I'm sorry. I don't feel like I have enough food to share with others. And I could tell she was really upset. It wasn't what she was expecting to happen. So she turned around and walked off, and we all got in the car shortly after that to go to school, and it was like dead silence. No one was happy. So the next day she came back to me and she said, Mom, you know that canned food drive? Yeah. I said, well, what can I bring? What can I bring? Can I bring something, please? And I said, no, I'm sorry. We just don't have enough food to share. And I could see the big tears in her eyes, and there was tears in my eyes, and it was like, I just felt so bad, but I just felt like there was no way it was going to happen. Well, a few days later, it was the last day of the canned food drive, and my daughter came back to me and she said, Mom, this is the last day we can bring in our canned goods. Can I at least bring in one can? And I thought, oh man, I should be able to find one can. So I looked around and way in the back of my kitchen cabinet, and I looked way, way in the back and found a small can of bamboo shoots. I don't know how long that can of bamboo shoots had been in the back of the kitchen cabinet, but I brought it out and gave it to her and said, "Here, take this." She was so excited. She was so happy that she had a chance to bring something to the canned food drive. She wanted to help feed all those hungry kids. Well, a few days later, the results of the canned food drive came in, and her class won by one can.
That's awesome. I just got a little chill up my back.
Yeah, yeah, it's still for me the same. And, I remember to this day, it's almost like it just happened yesterday, just standing there in the kitchen when she gave me the news that her class had won by one can. And it was in that moment that I just got chills up and down my spine, and it was like what people might call an aha moment or a God moment or whatever. But something changed inside of me because I realized that I can make a difference and that one can make a difference. What's interesting, of course, her class had won the canned food drive, and of course she was thrilled, and that meant a pizza party and all of that. And of course, for her, her dream came true that she was able to be part of that and make that happen for other kids. And it was shortly after that that I was still kind of feeling the magic of that moment of knowing that I was worth something, that I could make a difference in somebody's life, I could make a difference in my kid's life, and somehow this would help others too. And I decided, as an educator, I thought there must be something that I can do also to help other kids and families that might be in the same situation. So at the time I was living in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I decided, and I don't know how I was going to do it, but I decided that I would help feed hungry kids. And it was close to Christmas time, and I had asked my mom for a Christmas gift, an early Christmas gift, and asked for a pancake maker, one of those skillets, right? Electric griddles. And she sent it to me, and I thought, oh, that is so cool, because I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm going to make pancakes for kids. So shortly after that, I wound up working with the Salvation Army, and they asked me to bring my idea, my program here to when I was in the Bay Area to feed hungry kids. And at the same time, I knew that I wanted to have this be a special event. At the time, I was teaching at a community college in Hayward. I was teaching early childhood education, and I told my kids, my students, I said, you know what? I want to share with you an experience that I had. And I told the story about this one can. And my students were like, oh, that is amazing. What can we do? What can we do to help hungry kids in our own community? So it was shortly after that my students from all my classes helped to provide food and breakfast and canned goods for families in the Hayward community. And from there, that grassroots effort just grew and grew and grew. And before I knew it, I just had all these volunteers from Rotary, from Kiwanis, from Seroptimus, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts. The whole community was coming together. And so that grassroots effort later became what is now a nonprofit organization called the Kids Breakfast Club. And the Kids Breakfast Club, after all these years, it's almost over 30 years now, has continued to serve children and families in the Hayward community. So,
Wow.
yeah. So it's like that one can of bamboo shoots has fed hundreds and thousands of kids and families.
Wow. It's kind of like the spark that ignited the whole. I picture sparklers like one to the next, and it got
Yeah,
bigger.
it got bigger and bigger, and let me tell you, I mean, it was just all kinds of other cool things happen that just totally blew my mind. It was like, wasn't talk about not being on my radar screen at all, because what had happened is that the people in the community there were really noticing like this groundswell of participation and people coming together to help one another. And our congressman of that area had noticed, had heard about what was going on. Anyways, he nominated me as a community hero. And in 1996, as a result of being named a community hero, I ran with the Olympic torch. And that
You know,
was
I
like,
saw that, Marlene. I wanted to ask you. Tell us.
yep, I ran with the Olympic torch in 1996. And, it was just so amazing. Just so amazing. I never thought anything like that would ever happen to me. And kind of, it all started with a can of bamboo shoots.
Wow.
So since then, there have just been other amazing kind of ways that I've been recognized for the work that I've done for kids and families. And I've been recognized in the United States Congressional Record. I received the United States Presidential Award for Service from President Obama. And most recently, I was named as one of California's distinguished women in this last Women's History Month in 2024. So it's like, it has just been unbelievable, what has happened. And just to know that even when you feel like nothing's going right and you can't do what you really want to do and you can't show up the way you want to show up, but it was like somehow breaking through all of that. And for me, having that aha moment that I can make a difference has changed everything.
Oh, 100%. I think that's what my chill was about. You know, feeling the place you were in, you know, probably frightened and not knowing, you know, when the next food, you know, that whole with kids dependent on you, the whole thing, and how, so a God thing or whatever you said, that it just was like a wake up, like, here you can. It was such an empowering moment
It
that
was
led to
tough.
so many other empowering moments.
I know it was like this huge ripple effect, and going from like kind of a down and depressed kind of single parent to
Right.
being a distinguished woman in the state of California is like, what is that? How did that happen?
Wow, I absolutely love this story and so empowering, so relatable because especially when any of us have lived long enough, right? I think we all know, or maybe not all, most, probably the high majority of people know at some point, maybe different context, what it's like to not know what to do and to have that desperation moment and not knowing which way is up and not knowing what's next. That's so relatable. I mean, that's sort of like part of the essence of being a human being, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. And, I look back now at that experience because when you're going through stuff like that, when you're in it, it's like you don't feel like there's any way out. And, and when you feel like you don't have the resources, you don't have the resiliency, something deep down inside kind of pulls you up, pulls you forward. And I think that's what happened for me because I didn't have a clue how I was going to make it.
Wow.
So,
And you had a redirect there.
total redirect. And of course, my life has been amazing since then. And I'm grateful for that experience as hard and as it was while it was happening. It just made me who I am today.
Fantastic. And I also know that the amazing Marlena also has her business called Empowering Elegance with Marlena, yes? And wasn't that sparked by this book? Did that kind of lead one of the many domino ripple effects, what you're doing now? Why don't you tell us about how, that whole connection?
Sure, sure, sure. Thank you. Yeah. So, yeah, it's interesting how, things kind of evolve. And, of course, the book was just, I've written 8 books and they've all been award winning. Uh, but, I mean, this book is my legacy. And the other thing I want to mention about the book before we go on is that the person that illustrated my book is 14 years old, and he illustrated this book on his laptop, and he was just amazing. And he's a son of a friend of mine. I didn't even know he was an artist. And when I bumped into my friend and I was saying, hey, I'm writing this book and I'm looking for an illustrator. If you know anybody, let me know. And then my friend Vanetta said, oh, she showed me her phone. She said, wait a minute, let me show you something. She showed me something that her son had drawn, and I'm going, oh my goodness, that's it. He's the one. He's the one to illustrate
Wow.
this book. And we loved it because it was like a kid
Yes,
illustrating a kid's book.
right.
Yeah.
That's doing wonderful things for children, too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it occurred to me rather recently, just in the last 6 months or so, that, and again, another kind of aha moment occurred that made me come to my decision about another way that I can work with people and serve others, and especially women. Because I figured if I could do this, other women could do this too. Other women could take a look at what their dreams are and really move forward with them, make that happen, even though in the midst of everything you think you can't. But
Right.
most recently, I was a friend of mine from our mastermind group said to me, Marlena, I really like how you show up on Zoom. And she said, will you teach me how to do that? She says, you always look so put together. And I thought about it. I said, well, I don't know. I don't know how I can teach that, but let me think about it. So, at any rate, I came up with some ideas of how we could work together on Zoom. And I want to tell you, we had so much fun because what we did is we shopped her closet. And we just took things that she had and we started mixing and matching in whole new ways. And I would say, Stephanie, try that, putting that scarf with that jacket and that necklace. And we're just kind of flying over, she got her phone and we're doing the Zoom thing. And she was so thrilled. Oh, and like I said, it was just so much fun. We were just kind of creating in the moment. And she wound up creating over 26 different outfits of things that she already had. And
Wow.
that inspired her so much. She said to me, you need to teach other women how to do this. She said, I know it when I see it, I just don't know how to do it. She said, but now I know, now I'm getting it. So I figured, you know what? That is just going to be another way for me to serve others, and especially women and having their dreams come true. So I put together Empowering Elegance with Marlena, where I guide women through a 5-week course of transformation. I mean, we get kind of down and dirty with what I call a closet detox.
I love that.
I love it too, and that is like in a real supportive environment. And as a matter of fact, made a video just the other day of my closet because I figured, you know what? I'm in here with you because I need to do some work on my closet too. But just taking out things that you don't like, you don't wear, you haven't worn for a year or two or three or four, things that are too big, too small, whatever, just get rid of them. It's just
Get
clutter.
rid
And
of
it's cluttering up our lives, and it messes with our head. When you go to the closet and you feel overwhelmed, and you've got a
it.
closet full of clothes and nothing to wear. It's like, ah. But during this 5-week course, we do the closet detox. And then I do a one-on-one session with them on Zoom to help them create new outfits. And then we have a fashion show.
I
And,
love that.
it is so cool. So I'm just so excited getting ready to do my very first 5-week course starting February 1. But I'm planning on doing that. I don't know how often, but I think it's just going to be really empowering. And again, supportive and fun. So I figured, well, why not? I'm at the age where I can say I can do what I want to do. I'm at the age where I can like have fun and, help others, and why not? Why not?
Is it okay with you if we disclose that, Marlena? Because I don't think anyone would guess how old you are.
Sure, it'd be okay with me.
Because no one's gonna believe me. Marlena here, who just recently started a business, is 80 years young, and she's incredible. When I met her, she was 79, I think, right? Because like a year and a half ago or so, and
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
talking about this children's book she just wrote, and I'm like, oh my God! And I just had this, just immediately, I was just immediately inspired and just so put together. She walks in all styling and she's got it going on. And I just thought, what a fantastic role model. I'm a sensational 60. I'm thinking, what a, just barely, what a great role model for, you hear healthy aging, but she's way more than that. It's elegant aging. It's elegant aging and starting businesses and being picked up by Simon and Schuster with the book and just actually I think our friend in the mastermind group today, our friend Jake said he wanted to be just like her when he grows up. And just and maybe you can just go, kind of take that, pass the torch to you, Marlena, because what has that been like to keep, like, to keeping, just so involved, keeping that spark? Maybe you can share with the listeners how you've done that, because you're probably one of the most put together, brilliant, styling 80-year-olds I've ever encountered. And how has that been? Because I think that could spark other people who are, on their way to 80.
Yeah. Well, thank you for asking. And let me think about it kind of on the cuff here. Um, well, first of all, I made a conscious decision to start exercising every day. And 10 years ago, when I was 70, I, um, I made a decision to bump up what thought I was doing in terms of exercising, and I had been going to the gym, but I decided I wanted to go at least 5 to 6 times a week. And so for the last 10 years, that's what I've been doing. And for
Wow.
me, it provides an amazing outlet, not only for physical exercise, but just for mental health. And you get rolling, and you get sweating, and on the endorphins are going, and
Yes, yes,
it's a
yes.
package deal. And not to mention that at our gym in particular, we have an amazing, what we call fit fam, amazing family of other people in there that are just as dedicated as I am to their health and wellness. And up until 70 or so, I was kind of couch potato. I was good with watching TV every night. And, why not? I mean, that's kind of, I want to say the American way, but, it's just kind of
Oh,
expected
yeah.
behavior. But, I decided I wanted something different for myself at some point. And, I I could see where, age was setting in, and another kind of aha moment occurred that I won't go into detail there, but it was like, I really want to, I really want to take control of this and do whatever I can. And so, along with exercising is, this whole thing around healthy eating. And so it meant a whole kind of lifestyle change, to tell you the truth. Because I was still working when I was 70, and I retired when I was 70 from the California Department of Education as a consultant. But it was like I was still getting up at while I was working and working out. I was still getting up at 10 minutes to 4 in the morning
Wow.
and leaving the house at 4:30 and being at the 5 o'clock class and exercising from 5 to 6 hardcore, and then coming home and getting ready for the day. And so just to start my day off that way. And the other cool thing is that my husband has been like such a great partner. Obviously remarried, and we've been married for over 40 years now. But we also
Oh,
have some morning
fantastic.
rituals, in terms of prayers and mindfulness, and some meditations in the morning. And so it's kind of like a package deal for me. It's very holistic in terms of body, mind, and spirit, and finding those things that give me joy, that make my life feel meaningful. And just going to the gym, I mean, there's people of all ages and all shapes and sizes. But you know what? It's like we are a fit fam. And we see each other every day, so it's like, well, how you doing? How's it going? And this and this and this and whatever. But we're all there, and it's a supportive environment. And so that's really been huge. It's just having that sense that, participation, being involved, and doing the best I can with what I've got.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And conscious choice, that's where it all starts, is right? Is the awareness of making a conscious, because there's no just decision fairy that drops decision dust on our pixie dust on our heads. And I think one of the one of the lines that was so great, Marlena, was, well, up until my 70s ish, I was a couch potato, a riot, and then you just drew a line in the sand and said
Yeah,
you basically changed. You basically decided to change how you were showing up.
exactly. I mean, it was bad. I'll share with you how bad it was. Besides watching TV, I would get home from work, and we had these lazy boy chairs, right? Like a love seat, lazy boy. So two of them together, and so as soon as I got home, I'd turn on the TV. I'd be cooking, watching TV, and then we would sit in the lazy boy chairs and eat our dinner, watching TV, and then we would fall asleep in the lazy boy chairs, watching TV. Then we would wake up and then go to bed, and it was like, whoa, what is wrong with this picture here? But we did that for a long time, and we were kind of liking it.
Well, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it was like total, just, I want to say a total checkout. It's just like, no,
right, right,
I,
right,
it's
right,
not
right.
going. Yeah, yeah,
So do you that I'm so grateful you did share that, because I guarantee we may never know because there's so many listeners out there, but that can really, really relate to that. And being
yeah,
being in the still on the couch having a conversation with themselves, which is
yeah,
where it starts, right? Like, this is
yeah,
comfortable, but part of me really doesn't want to do this anymore.
yeah.
And then how do I propel? I wonder if do you have a moment you remember where you kind of like just you flip the script on it? Do you have a memory of like having it be like a specific time?
Well, that's a good question. And just a little background information. You know, uh, I remember, well, just kind of growing up. My mom was always sick, and she was really a creative, brilliant woman. She was a professional musician, but she just practiced violin 8, 10 hours a day. She was in a symphony orchestra. Amazing, amazing, amazing. but she just had really poor health. And my dad would always go out for walks and try to get her to go for a walk, and she would never want to go. And then her health just really declined. And it was like one thing after another. And and the doctors kept telling her, you need to exercise, you need to walk at least, but she never wanted to do that. And, just watching her health decline, just kind of one thing after another, was just really sad. It was kind of, yeah, it just made a huge impression on me. And it was like, I don't want to be sick like that. I don't want surgeries. I don't want that kind of life. And so I think that's a big part of what helped me decide to choose consciously, you know, something different. And so part of that was, going to a gym or taking a gym class, and just
Right.
really getting kind of reacquainted with what it was like to move. It's amazing.
Right.
But, you have to
Right.
be gentle with yourself, and you have to give yourself grace, especially in the beginning, because you're not going to want to. You are just not going to want to. And all these excuses will come up. Like they came up for me. It's like, oh, I got to wash the dishes. I can't go work out because I got to wash the dishes. Or I can't work out because I got to do laundry. I got tons of laundry to do, you know? So, it's the mind, and it is a mind game in a lot of the ways. But, making that conscious choice like, hey, I want to be as healthy and vibrant as I can be. And so here I am. Actually, I'll be 80 on March 1. So I say 80, but it's
Almost
like
8. Oh,
I'm already
wow.
claiming it. But
Fantastic.
yeah,
No, I love
so
this, Marlena, too. You must have been 78 when I met you then, maybe. Because I think
yeah,
it was the year before last year. Wow. So I love this, too, because it's very enlightening to kind of realize that the choices we make with our current life minutes at 40, 50, 60, all the way from the ground up are cumulative. So when you're talking,
mhm,
not that it's ever too late to start, because we want people to start, right? But that all adds up. The choices we're making in this moment will eventually affect our 80-year-old self.
that's so true. That's so true. And and we don't always see it that way. That kind of that ripple effect, because once you make a decision in one area of your life, it kind of has that ripple effect into other areas, and things
Right.
start showing up, differently. So,
No, I love that because on a nice, wonderfully positive note, Marlena, you're such an inspiration, especially since with your honesty about right up until 70-ish, because I think that's for a lot of people. And that means to be able to see that you can do it makes the rest of us think we can do it too. And that's enormously empowering. I love
awesome.
being out in the woods every day and stuff, but there's definitely some changes I can make if I'm truthful. I move around a lot. I could definitely probably not have the burger and fries when I feel like having it, things like that. Um, but it's just such an inspiration because you've chosen the choices you've made when you flip the switch on it, right, are leading to this wonderfully brilliant, devastatingly gorgeous woman in her little jacket with her beautiful earrings and her nice haircut, starting businesses, writing books. It's just, you're such an inspiration. I just have to say that to
Uh,
you.
well, thank you so much. That makes my heart happy. Thank you. And I feel, that I just have more to give, and that if I can be inspiring to others, then why not? Just why not? And so that's why the magic of making a difference. That's why empowering elegance. And who knows whatever else is down the road, but right now I'm just loving it all, because I feel like I'm really giving back. I'm contributing to others, and that they're going to go out and do good in the world. And whatever that may be, it may not be feeding hundreds and thousands of hungry kids, It may be just showing up as the best wife ever, or the best mother ever, or the best CEO ever. But whatever that is for people in terms of the important things in their lives, is just, I love the idea of finding some way that I can be part of that and making others have their dreams come true.
Oh my gosh, what a fantastic way to wind up here too, because I love how Marlena has incorporated the thread throughout our whole conversation with all these other things she talked about, getting off the couch, the TV, the moving, the commitment to the gym early, all of it. And she's also incorporated the service component, regardless of what your religion is, if any, or whatever, not even the point necessarily. You can make it into that, but just to be other oriented and focusing on bringing value to other people and giving in some way is a healthy part of aging and living your highest vibe self, really.
Yeah, totally, totally.
Excellent. Well, I would like to thank you, Marlena, for being here with us, using your life minutes in this way, because there is no bigger compliment, and you're absolutely an inspiration. And Marlena is going to um, provide me with her website. I think she's at two, I think. And so you'll be able to find her, and also her books up, and if any further contact information. And so it has been an honor and a privilege to have you. So thank you so much for being here with us on the Minecraft podcast.
Well, thank you, Kimberly. And I just want to acknowledge you for being so insightful and such a deep listener. And the contributions that you make, the feedback that you give to others, is part of our growth and part of our wholeness. So I just wanted to thank you for you being of service by having this podcast for others to come on and share their story. And you do what you do by spreading the word and your Facebook posts and your words of wisdom. I mean, that's just a daily dose of delight. So thank you for your part in making a difference.
Oh wow! I just got more chills. Well, thank you everyone for listening, and again, I'm so grateful for you, Marlena, and you may find the magnificent Marlena, her information right at the bottom. All right, thank you so much.
Uh,